Welcome back to my channel, Open the Door. This is episode 85. Forgive yourself for not knowing better. The keys to transforming regret into strength. Have you ever looked back on your life's decisions and some of your actions and thought, what was I doing? Why did I do that? I'm such an idiot. I know I've had those kind of thoughts in the past, but self-forgiveness turns out is one of the greatest gifts that you can give yourself. It's recognizing that growth is a major part of life, and the way that we grow is through looking back and learning our lessons from our past mistakes. So I used to think that my broken past was my fault, but it turns out that I was doing the best I could with what I had at the time. I didn't have all the life experience and knowledge that I have culled over the years that I carry with me now. So when I look back, especially on my young adult years, I realized how very much I didn't know, and that I was operating from a place of just the basic information that I did have and the basic life experience that I did have. So when we are able to find a place of self-forgiveness, we need to use self-compassion, and it helps us to release the guilt, and we learn to understand that our mistakes are a catalyst for growth and learning and a deeper awareness of ourselves. So our past mistakes shouldn't become a life sentence where we're carrying that guilt and shame with us throughout our entire life, but we can come to a place of self-forgiveness and move past it. It's not letting ourselves off the hook when we find this self-forgiveness, but what we're really doing is setting ourselves free. So here's why self-forgiveness is essential for healing. The emotional weight of this guilt, shame, and regret that we carry is like an anchor that holds us connected to the past, and especially the mistakes that we're beating ourselves up for. Holding on to these past mistakes blocks our spiritual growth and attacks our sense of self-worth as well. Holding on to this unforgiveness for ourselves keeps us stuck in cycles of self-sabotage and a sense of unworthiness. So there's clearly steps that you can take that I'm going to point out for you here today. But before I do, I just want to give you some ideas of self-talk, things that we say to ourselves that maybe could change your perspective and make a difference between the accountability of the past mistakes and just beating ourselves up and creating like self-punishment over and over again. So here's some things that you could say, and I'll give you the flip side of it and how to say it in a way that is not harmful to yourself. So instead of saying it's all my fault over whatever happened, you can say, yes, I made mistakes and I've learned important lessons from those mistakes. Having to do with mistakes with another person. So we might at first think, well, they attacked me first, I had every right to act out, but instead we could flip that and see our fault in it and say that I was wrong to speak or act that way with that person. Another thing that you might catch yourself saying is, thinking that the world is against you, and why does everyone think that everything's your fault? Well, instead of saying that, you could say, my decisions and choices have consequences and I hold myself responsible. So as I've been doing a lot in my episodes here with encouraging you to do some journaling. So for those of you that have been taking the lead and following through on that, here's some prompts that you can use. And if you're not journaling, that's okay. These are questions to ponder, to meditate on. So the first question is, what is something I struggle to forgive myself for? And then ask why. The next question is, what emotions come up when I think about this past mistake? And this next one is a great question. Pretty much wraps up the episode for me, but I'll keep going. What did I know then versus what I know now? And another prompt for you would be, what steps can I take to make amends if needed with myself or others? So all good questions, either to meditate on or use in your journal. And while you have your journal out, here's some affirmations for you. to help you find this place of self-forgiveness and move forward from the past mistakes. So affirmations, number 1, I accept complete responsibility for my own well-being. And by doing that, you claim your power through the commitment to healing. You don't need to write that last bit down. Just number 1 is I accept complete responsibility for my own well-being. Number 2, I am a good person deserving of healing and self-compassion. By saying this affirmation, you're claiming your sense of worth and stating that you're ready to move forward. So again, number 2, I am a good person deserving of healing and self-compassion. Number 3, I forgive myself for my past mistakes and allow myself to grow from them. Through that affirmation, you're allowing yourself grace and practicing self-compassion. Number 4, I release the past of anger, guilt, and shame, and I embrace peace and compassion. Number 4 again is I release the past of anger, guilt, and shame, and I embrace peace and compassion. So here's some steps toward this self-forgiveness. Let's say you've been doing some meditating or journaling using the prompts and affirmations that I gave you, and you finally are ready to move forward. So here's the steps that you can take towards self-forgiveness. Number 1, acknowledge and accept responsibility. Openly admit to the mistakes without downplaying them, and reflect on how your actions affected yourself and others. The next step would be, after acknowledging and accepting responsibility, process your emotions. It's natural to feel guilt, shame, and regret. So allow yourself to feel those feelings fully, and then express those feelings through journaling or talking to someone else. But acknowledging and then processing your emotions is the most important step. Without that, you're not going to be able to come to any kind of resolution or self-forgiveness. After you process your emotions, then you want to identify the lessons that were learned, what went wrong, and how can you prevent that in the future. And then implement changes through positive adjustments in your life, your attitude, the way you move about and among others in the world. So after learning from your experience and implementing the change, you're going to make sure that in all these steps that you cultivate self-compassion and treat yourself with empathy and understanding. Replace these self-critical thoughts with the positive affirmations that I gave you. Make amends when possible. Offer sincere apologies to acknowledge the impact of your behavior, and then take concrete steps to demonstrate responsibility. And then the last step I have here towards your self-forgiveness would be to release the guilt and move forward. Embrace imperfections as part of life, and that there are opportunities for growth. And then shift your attention once you release it and you've worked through it. Shift your attention from these past mistakes to your present action and your future goals. So in close on this episode about self-forgiveness and releasing, regret and shame from the past. So here's my closing statements. Recognize the voice of your inner critic and then shift your perspective, as I just said. Recognize it's an ongoing journey that requires patience and self-compassion. Allow yourself to move forward. Focus on the future with a renewed sense of purpose. Embrace the process and open the door to healing and personal growth and development. Because ultimately, self-forgiveness brings peace of mind and peace in your heart. It's a release of your negative thoughts and emotions linked to these past mistakes. And then you've been able to grow and become stronger and gain wisdom from the lessons. So reclaim your power, be present, and don't stay stuck in the past. Forgive yourself. We all make mistakes. I hope you're doing well. I've got another episode coming up here tomorrow that I'll be recording. Actually, 2 episodes I'll be recording tomorrow. I was going to give you a little hint about the next episode, but I decided not to. Just know that it's going to be a pretty powerful one. So tune in for that, episode 86. In the meantime, take good care of yourselves. I wish you peace, love, and light. I'll see you again soon. That's it for now. Take care.